An open letter to the Iranian diaspora, media, and journalists. Stop weaponizing false numbers. You have cost innocent lives. From an Iranian who believes in justice. I write to you not as a defender of any government, but as someone who cares deeply about justice and honest independent journalism. I believe that the Iranian people have every right to demand accountability. I believe in an Iran that is independent, sovereign, and free from foreign manipulation, whether from Washington, Tel Aviv, or any other capital. And precisely because I hold these beliefs, I must tell you the truth. You believe you are standing for justice, but you have been used. And whether you like it or not, the blood of young Iranians and the wider region is on your hands as much as the oppressors. First, the facts about the numbers. Independent, verifiable counts of deaths during recent unrest in Iran do not match the thousands or even hundreds often cited by opposition media. The highest figures have consistently come from anonymous sources later traced to servers in Tel Aviv and Washington, D.C. Believing in the right to protest means we must be honest about what actually happens. Inflating the numbers does not help the families of the real victims. It buries them. Second, the protests were not organic. As someone who wants an Iran free from foreign domination, I have watched in horror as genuine public grievances have been hijacked by intelligence agencies. Multiple veterans of U.S. and Israeli intelligence, as well as open-source investigators, have documented that the recent protest movements were manufactured, amplified, and directly orchestrated by foreign powers. Evidence includes social media campaigns promoting protest hashtags that were launched from IP addresses in Tel Aviv and Northern Virginia. Financial flows from U.S. government-affiliated NGOs, including the National Endowment for Democracy and the Bureau of Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor, to exile groups who then recruited and paid individuals inside Iran to attend staged, spontaneous gatherings. Leaked communications showing Israeli Mossad operatives coordinating with Kurdish opposition groups to incite violence in multiple provinces simultaneously, creating the illusion of a nationwide uprising. These are not conspiracy theories. These are documented methods of hybrid warfare, the same playbook used in Ukraine, Libya, and Syria. And every time you dismiss this evidence as regime propaganda, you become an unwitting accomplice. Third, the cost has been catastrophic, and you helped pay it. By uncritically repeating inflated death tolls and insisting the protests were grassroots, you gave moral cover to foreign intelligence operations, and the consequences have been devastating. Young Iranians died for a lie. Vulnerable teenagers and university students, people whose right to protest I fully defend, believed the narratives you amplified. They took to the streets expecting international support. Instead, they were left to face security forces alone. The foreign powers that engineered the unrest never intended to save them, only to use their corpses as propaganda. You helped pave the way for war. The false reporting created the pretext for escalating sabotage, assassinations of Iranian nuclear scientists, drone strikes inside Iranian territory, and ultimately missile exchanges that have killed thousands across the region. What began as hashtags on your social media feeds has become a catastrophic regional war, one that has displaced families in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Iran itself. As someone who wants an independent, sovereign Iran, I cannot remain silent while foreign powers use your platform to destroy that sovereignty. You have discredited genuine human rights advocacy. When real abuses occur, as they do in every country, including Iran, no one will believe the numbers because you have cried wolf too many times. You have harmed the very cause of justice that I and millions of Iranians hold dear. And here is what I need to add for those who truly seek profound change. There is another path. It does not involve cheering for a shady, questionable superpower, be it Washington, Tel Aviv, or any other capital, that has no intention of liberating the Iranian people, only of bringing destruction and regional conflict for its own political and economic gain. That path has been tried in Libya, in Syria, in Yemen, and it leaves only rubble and orphans. Nor does it involve falling for the nostalgia trap, romanticizing a pre-1979 era that was itself defined by foreign domination, secret police, and inequality, as if returning to a puppet monarchy would somehow grant Iranians dignity. Instead, genuine change comes from within, and it is hard, slow, and unglamorous. It requires sustained, nonviolent activism inside Iran. Building labor unions, women's rights networks, student organizations, and independent legal aid groups that hold the government accountable without becoming foreign assets. It requires seeking genuine international community aid, not military intervention or sanctions that crush ordinary citizens, but humanitarian assistance, technical support for civil society, and diplomatic pressure through neutral bodies like the UN Human Rights Council. It requires demanding the observance of universal human rights, the right to a fair trial, to freedom from torture, to peaceful assembly as a daily practice, not a hashtag. And it requires holding the government accountable through legal mechanisms, investigative journalism, and peaceful civil disobedience, not through foreign-funded color revolutions that swap one form of domination for another. These actions are slower. They do not make for dramatic headlines, but they are the only ones that have ever produced lasting, profound change. From the end of apartheid in South Africa to the solidarity movement in Poland, they do not ask you to hand your country's future to a superpower that sees you as expendable. They ask you to do the difficult, unglamorous work of building power from the ground up. Anything else is not revolution. It is suicide dressed up as hope, a call to accountability. Iranian diaspora members and journalists, you are participants. Every time you share an unverified figure, you bear responsibility for what follows. Before you post, ask who originally published this number? What is their track record for accuracy? Who funds them? Could this narrative serve an intelligence objective? And most importantly, would you send your own child into those streets based on what you are sharing? If the answer is no, then stop, verify. I believe in an Iran that stands for justice, for the right to protest, and for a free, independent, sovereign Iran. An Iran that answers only to its own people. The Iranian people deserve better than to be cannon fodder for a war dressed up as a revolution. Enough propaganda, enough blood, enough